I took the IB with 3 of the hardest subjects in their respective categories and got IB45. The IB is graded on a bell curve, meaning in order to get a 45, I literally had to beat out every single student taking the exam in the world. With only 179 students out of 180,000 being able to achieve a 45, the accolade was nigh impossible. I don't say this to brag. I say this to prove to you that the exact study routine and study system I came up with really does work. In fact, I used to be a bottom scorer in school until I created my final study framework that guaranteed me a 45 even before taking the exams. So if you truly follow every step in this video, you can achieve academic perfection too. The first thing I did was to know exactly how I needed to study. Ever answer a test question correctly with the right explanation, right idea, only to lose marks with feedback saying too vague? The reason isn't because you don't understand the concept. It's that schools grade based on a mark scheme, which requires specific keywords to earn full marks. So even if your explanation is correct, missing these exact terms can lead to deductions. To guarantee full marks, to maximize your score, you need to use the required wording verbatim. Hence, my first strategy would be the complete memorization of your notes, where you're able to regurgitate the content verbatim. This is the only way to ensure you don't lose petty marks and guarantee that all your concepts and explanations check off all the keywords in the mark scheme on the exam. Therefore, this is the only study method that allows you to achieve academic perfection. Every other study technique are all flawed and will not allow you to achieve perfection. Secondly, ever walk into an exam just to realize that the questions on the test were much harder and completely different to what you're prepared for? The reason is because you're not preparing for the exam correctly. What you should do is to not only memorize content, but also doing past papers. The reason why past papers are so important is because you're literally doing the past exams, which the current exam you're gonna take is based off of. So by doing past papers, you familiarize yourself with the structure, pacing, and question types on the exam. Additionally, you're also enhancing your essay writing skills, deduction skills, and explanation skills. Thus, the more you do, the more you naturalize your exam skills, which increases your chances of scoring high on the exam. Leading up to the final IB exam, I did around 40 past papers for math, 30 for English, and dozens more for the remaining 4 subjects. All these past papers allowed me to practice for questions that I didn't know how to answer, and also develop my text analysis and writing skills. Therefore, it is paramount that for every subject, you do past papers. The next thing I did was develop a proper mindset. There are 2 ideas that I developed. Firstly, the IB and most academic systems are PvP. A lot of people don't realize this, but the IB and most academic systems are graded on the bell curve, which means your score isn't just based on how well you do, but on how well you do compared to everyone else in the world. So even if you get a high score, if others do better, you get pushed down. And to get a 45, that's reserved for only 179 students out of 180,000 taking the exam. Knowing that I had to beat out literally every single student in the world taking the exam, the only way I could guarantee a 45 was to work harder than everyone else and making sacrifices that I know others won't make that put me at an advantage. For example, in the 2 years of the IB, I never went out with friends because I knew while my competitors were hanging out, by staying in to study, I was giving myself an advantage. By eating clean while everyone else trashed their bodies, I was building a faster brain that could help me beat them. This idea led me to develop the next. There is a direct positive correlation with time studied and marks gained. This is because the more you spend memorizing content, the easier and faster it is for you to deploy that knowledge on the exam. And the more past papers you do, the better your writing skills, math skills, and explanation skills get, and thus increasing your chances on the exam. So knowing that the IB is PvP, in order to guarantee that I beat out every single person in the world taking the exam, I had to work so hard and so much that there was simply no version of reality where someone outworked and outperformed me. I needed to guarantee 45. So knowing that, I decided to spend 12 hours a day every single day from February to May studying for the exam. Quick pause. Before we get into the rest of this video, if you're looking to consistently score full marks, getting 7s in your subjects, or even IB45, I can help you achieve them. I've helped dozens of students achieve their academic goals. Students sign up and immediately rise to the top of their classes because we optimize their study methodologies. We show you what and how you need to study. If you're interested, check out Scholar's Pack in the description below. Now, as for my IB exam study routine, I created a monthly and daily schedule, where on the monthly schedule, I would label the specific topic I needed to have memorized, or the past paper that I needed to complete. Then on the daily schedule, I followed a strict schedule broken down into 30-minute blocks. Now this is my March study routine. I didn't need to go to school as I was preparing for the exams. So if you need to go to school, just accommodate for that. I'd wake up at 7 a.m. and sleep at 10:30 p.m. every single day, as a constant sleep schedule keeps your circadian rhythm dialed in so that I wouldn't feel tired during the day. This is very important if you want to maintain work consistency, as you cannot be feeling tired throughout the day and making excuses because of that. Right after I wake up and have breakfast, I immediately start memorizing for my first subject for 3 hours straight. I tend to write down 2 subjects to memorize for every day on the monthly schedule. So on Monday, it could be Econ and CS. On Tuesday, it could be Geo and Econ. So whatever the monthly schedule says, that's what I do for my first subject. After memorizing so much for so long, my brain tends to need a break. So I go and do something that has a light load on my brain, which for me was copying and memorizing for my secondary language subject, Chinese. So if you need a break but want to stay productive, do something that is easy in between. Afterwards, I have lunch. My helper makes them so that I don't waste time cooking and cleaning. For lunch, I eat food that specifically fuels me without making me lethargic. This is really important, as you do not want to be feeling tired and lazy after eating. So if you want to find out what you should be eating to maximize your performance, then watch this video over here. After lunch, I usually switch to essay writing, whether that's an English past paper, Chinese paper, Geo or Econ essay. The way I see it, the brain has different sectors for different tasks. So while the memorization sector is still resting and recharging, I've changed the activity to use the writing sector instead. That mental rotation is what helped me study 12 hours a day without burning out, because I was constantly rotating which part of my brain I was using. Afterwards, I jump back to memorization before a new subject, this time just for an hour to ease back in. Then I take a 30-minute hot shower to relax and reset my brain. Afterwards, I'm back to memorizing my second subject. On some days, I work out afterwards. However, I didn't have time, nor did I want to at that time, to go to the gym. So I just did 100 push-ups and 50 dips just to stay a little active. Afterwards, I would have dinner with my family for 30 minutes, and then I would spend 4 hours doing 2 math past papers, usually a paper 1 and a paper 2. The reason why I do math at the end of the day is because it requires the most critical thinking. So if I'd done that in the morning, I would have been drained throughout the day and wouldn't be able to memorize as much. Especially because memorization doesn't require thinking. I leave that in the morning so that it doesn't waste so much energy, so that I can move on to more tasks throughout the day. So you want to leave the most mentally draining tasks, such as math, which requires critical thinking, at the end of the day. So that is for Monday to Saturday. However, because I was memorizing so much content, over 13 to 14 notebooks worth over 3 months, I needed a full day every week just to review the content so that I wouldn't forget. So on Sunday, I would spend the entire day regurgitating everything I'd memorized from day 1. This is crucial as your brain is actively trying to forget information. So you need to constantly regurgitate information to retain information. If you want to learn how to achieve photographic memory, then watch this video over here. But anyways guys, that's the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, especially because I'm going to be trying to upload daily content that you don't want to miss out. That's going to help you with studying more effectively, studying for longer hours, and also IB guides. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.